Hey everybody, I'm Nicholas Skinner with Skinner Games, and you're here for another episode of Game Reviews in 5 minutes or less. This time, we'll be talking about the red box version of the Dungeons & Dragons basic game. Now, this came out in the early 80s. It's not the one that came out recently with 4th edition. Let's put that aside. Let's forget that one. This is a vastly better game. Although this game is based off of the work of Gary Gygax and Dave Arneson, it is revised by Frank Mincer, and the illustrations are done by Larry Elmore and Jeff Easley. Now for me, this really does hold the most iconic art for Dungeons & Dragons. This early work is really what shaped my view of what Dungeons & Dragons could be. For example, here is a picture from Larry Elmore of a cleric. You'll see a lot of Larry Elmore's work scattered throughout a lot of TSR productions, but you'll also see it in some modern things. Hero's Journey, which is a Swords and Wizardry white box adaptation, has a lot of Elmore's work in it, and it really harkens back to this early day of gaming, and I totally love it. However, we're not here to talk about Hero's Journey today. We'll do that some other time. Unfortunately, I didn't get the entirety of the red box. I just got the 2 manuals that you need to play. You have the Player's Manual and the Dungeon Master's Rulebook. Like its predecessors, it only takes you up to level 3, but it does present 7 classes in which you can advance. The reason why I use ambiguous air quotes is for the following reasons. The classes that we have for human players are Cleric, Fighter, Thief, and Magic User. And then you have the races. Elf is its own class, Halfling is its own class, and Dwarf is its own class. And they all have their own special abilities and advancement tables. One thing that set the game apart from any of the other versions is that in the beginning you have a solo introductory adventure, and it really kind of scarred a lot of people. And if you haven't played it, I suggest you find a copy and you'll see why. Inside is a pretty comprehensive world that you can adventure in for quite a while, even if it's just 3 levels. And the Dungeon Master's Guide presents a small adventure for you to get your characters started with, as well as all the things you need to continue your adventures in whatever world it is you're creating. And as much as it introduced people into role-playing games, it was quite a different system than Advanced Dungeons & Dragons 2nd Edition or 1st Edition. Now this is just the basic game. Eventually a box came out that was the expert game that took your characters from level 4 to I believe level 14, so that you got a lot more play and a lot more bang out of your buck. It was also 1 volume, but it came with an adventure. Unfortunately, I don't have the expert manual right now. I'm hoping to add it to my collection someday, because the BECMI system, as a lot of people colloquially would call it, is really a lot of fun. Now I honestly really like this game. I think it's a lot better even than the box set that came out for 5th edition. Aside from the vintage and nostalgia button that it totally pushes, I think that the product itself is still better than some of the newer things that have come out. Now this and Rifts are the 2 games that I really cut my teeth on when it comes to role-playing games, so I kind of have a soft spot in my heart for it. Even though you still level up in Elf, which I always thought was weird. And one major departure from modern games is descending armor class. So instead of having an armor class of 10, 11, 12, and 13, it goes 9, 8, 7, 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1, 0, -1, and you have to roll accordingly. Now charts exist in the manual themselves to help players adjust for this. But as a younger player, it was always something that I thought was kind of odd why you had a negative armor class and not the ascending one. If you haven't played through this little piece of role-playing game history, I suggest you go to rpgnow.com and take a look at the Wizards of the Coast section where you can find this and many of their other older versions of the game. The PDFs are a pretty affordable rate and you can have a lot of fun with these. The game is made simple enough that you can teach smaller children, and it's really fun for just an afternoon rainy day. For those of you who are interested to see kind of the history of role-playing games, take a look at it. It's a whole lot of fun. I promise you won't be disappointed if you give it a try. It may not be your favorite game for sure, but you could have a lot of fun just seeing what came before. So that's our quick review of the Dungeons & Dragons basic game from the early 80s. Now we didn't get into a lot of the meat of the system, but with a 5-minute review, we gotta cut it kinda short. If you enjoyed this video or any of our other ones, please hit the like button and subscribe to our channel. If you feel like I missed something or you would like to see something in particular, please hit in the comments below. Also, on the first Saturday of every month, we play Retro Role-Playing, where we play through old systems, new systems, and some future systems, and give our review at the end. Now, those tend to be a little more comprehensive. They're also 3 hours long, which is why we decided to do 5 minutes or less for other things. Happy gaming!